Well, so today's episode is going to be on traveling. So it's our first episode of Highly Naked, as you can see.
In our uniform.
In our respective uniform. So today's topic, I know like in our earlier videos, we said that we'd have other topics and things to talk about. So today's first topic is living overseas.
Yeah.
So
living here in Germany. What's the area called?
Rhineland Falls or whatever. But it's like PFLZ or something.
Yeah.
Some angry language. Yeah.
Yeah. Culture's different, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think the one thing that was a big difference for me is how close people stand to you. Like I was at McDonald's and this dude was like right on me, like breathing down my neck, and like I'm like, yo dude, back up, and he's like, huh, and he got offended that I asked him to back up, and I was like, no dude, you're in my space, back up. So I think that was something that it took me a long time to get accustomed to, was how close people stand to you and like how invasive they are of your personal space.
Yeah, and they're very direct too. Like I remember I worked with a German and they'll just straight up tell you, you suck. And they're like, no, you're good at this, but in America you'd say, oh, you're good at this, but try to do better with this. They're just like, yeah, you suck at this. They don't say anything else other than that.
Yeah, they're very direct. I mean, I do like that directness because like even talking to people, like even like traveling throughout Germany, like talking to people, they're very direct with you. You're gonna get an honest answer from them. So I do appreciate that fact. Everyone in America likes to kind of beat around the point. You're never gonna get a straight answer from anybody unless you pry. And you don't have to pry with German culture. Or even the European culture in general. Everyone's very direct. They don't like wasting time, and they don't like their time being wasted.
And they're very direct too. And the Qataris definitely think they're better than you. That's for damn sure. Wasn't fun working with those guys at all.
Yeah, I think the only ones I really had experience. German military though, I do like working with those guys. I think the only thing that there's a culture difference is in the beginning, like the first 2 days that we were like firing together and working together, none of them would talk to us, and they like pretended they didn't know English or anything, or like you try to speak to them in German and they just ignore you. It wasn't until we sat down, had dinner and a beer with them, when after that night, after we had a beer with them, they started speaking English. They started like treating us like one of them. It was shocking in like how much of a turnaround it was from all you had to do was have a beer with them, and I think that was something that's a little frustrating because it's like this whole time it's like you're like lying to us this whole time. We're trying to work with you, and then all it took was a beer.
That's something you'll experience all over in Europe too. Like the French are really bad about that. Like the French are probably, I hate going to France. Like I love the Paris, but the French people will not speak anything other than French, even though they might know English. So that's really frustrating, especially when you go to a restaurant. Trying to order can be a hassle because if their menu's all in another language, good luck trying to order something off that menu. You might get something you don't like my ex-wife. She refused to eat meals.
Really? I mean, I tried escargot. It's pretty good. And frog legs, I liked it. It's pretty good.
I feel like a lot of countries do like Americans, but I don't know, I'd say the actual, like the other countries definitely like America, but like some of the people can definitely have their own stigmas about Americans just from bad experiences with American people. Like I know a lot of Americans can get pretty rowdy downtown and stuff, cause problems. So,
oh my god.
This guy right here.
Don't even. From what I've seen, there hasn't been too many altercations like when we go downtown. However, I was in Romania. I almost got Romania was a bad time. Well, it was a good time, but there's this guy. And me, I'm from California, so I always say dude, bro, you know. I always call everybody dude. Dude's like gender neutral, you know, it's a just dude, you know, you're being a dude. This guy, I kept calling him dude, you know. He was kind of showing us around. He was in the same hostel as us. And we were drinking. I was like, man, you're an awesome dude. And he got mad, the maddest. And he's like, stop calling me a dude. I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, you're calling me an idiot. I'm like, really? Like, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. And then me being like intoxicated, I just kept saying dude, you know? And so but it's ingrained in me. That's all I say. That's all I ever say. I always call people boss, dude, or guy. You know, like, what up, boss? How you doing, man? Or what up, dude? So, I don't know. You got any travel stories like that?
Not like where I almost got in a fight, but I'll talk about, you know, on cultural differences. Like in America, before you try to scoot past someone, they'll say, "Oh, excuse me." And my first time,
Missouri. Oh, let me sneak right past you.
let me just sneak on by.
Yeah, right.
But my first,
Shout out to my Missouri people.
my first travel experience overseas was in Israel, and basically they'll just shoulder check you, and then they'll say "shtika," which means they don't even have a word for "excuse me." That's pretty much their word for "excuse me." It more means like move, but yeah. So you'll be in the markets down there. You'll just be constantly getting shoulder checked, and they'll just be saying "shtika" like it's nothing, you know. So that's another cultural difference.
Well, I mean, to them, that could probably mean excuse me, you know.
No, it doesn't, because when I went, I was on my Birthright Israel trip, which is a free trip for Jews to go to Israel. And I was hanging out with some Israeli soldiers because they're allowed to go on leave and come on our trips with us. And I can't remember what they told me exactly what it means, but it doesn't mean excuse me. It just pretty much means move.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they said something.
Yeah.
Dude, that's one thing I hated about New York, man. Like, I love cities, but don't get me wrong, dude. I hated New York City. Like, New York, oh my God. Like, okay, for my opinion, Paris is like the New York of I would say Paris is the New York of Europe, because one, Paris was dirty, a lot of construction, and then a lot of people who travel to Paris too don't like it. Doesn't really meet their expectations. Like the Mona Lisa. What's the Mona Lisa? I thought it was this big grand old painting, and it was just a tiny little picture.
I've never seen it.
But
The line
no.
is too long to go to the Louvre.
Oh, we went and it was like the line. There was no line.
Oh,
It was pretty
lucky.
nice. Well, it was about to close too, so we had to run. We had to like legitimately run through, like take like 2 seconds to look at everything.
Food overseas.
It depends on where I'm at. Like, definitely, some of the best food I had was like Budapest, like Amsterdam, Romania. They had really good food, but like German food, it's a lot of meat and potatoes, so I didn't really like enjoy that too much. It doesn't really have any variety. I think the worst place though is probably sorry to you people, because I got friends in London and everything, but y'all guys' food, y'all need some salt and pepper or something. Just all they eat is like their food's so bland.
White there.
Their food's so bland.
But probably the worst part about being overseas is there's like
Sorry, I keep checking
food.
the GPS.
Mexican food is non-existent.
Oh yeah, I have to like legitimately me and him just hang out at each other's house because we just cook different Mexican foods. Like I'm
cooking.
cook. Oh, okay, but I had to teach him how to make it. But I'll make carnitas or carne asada all the time, enchiladas. You know, last Christmas I actually made my own tamales. So but you know, I mean, I may be fair-skinned, but I am Hispanic nonetheless. But I mean, there's a few good places that are decent. They're not on like the level of like the States, but it's decent. They're decent at good food, like Cantina Mexicana.
Yeah, they make alright tacos.
They're pretty good. Fiesta Mexicana is like the best place for tacos in this area. So
I mean, it's like even like Chipotle and stuff. They're not the same. Like you can find a Chipotle over here. The closest one to us is in Frankfurt, which is about an hour away. But the Chipotle definitely tastes different than it does in the States.
yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I do feel like we're so accustomed to eating out all the time though. Like even out here, they don't have that many fast food restaurants. They only have like the only thing that they have is like McDonald's, and that would be considered their only like takeout restaurants.
Yeah.
But then again, McDonald's rules the world. So I do believe America's a very go, like a very futuristic society. So we're always on the go. We're always on the move. We don't have time to sit at home. The restaurant experience, speaking of food, everywhere else you go, if you're going to a restaurant, plan to be there to at least 2 to 3 hours. Whereas like in America, you'll sit down, you'll get your appetizer, you'll get your food, and then within an hour you're gone. Here, the restaurant experience could be 2 to 5 hours, you know, because they have like, what is it? In the beginning, they have like, you get your drinks and you just like drink your drinks.
Yeah. They never really come and check on you. You get your stuff, and then, you know, if they see that your beer glass is empty, they'll come over, ask if you need another drink. But the custom is that you pretty much are there to like have a social gathering. Not really a social gathering, but eat and, you know, talk with your friends, family, whatever. So they expect that to take 2-3 hours.
Yeah. Another thing, tipping. Tipping's one thing that I kind of got like scolded on because I tipped someone and then they got mad at me for tipping them. Because I guess in culture over here, on base it's okay to tip, but like restaurants, some restaurants near base you can tip, but like if you go out like to other countries and tip, they get upset with you because you're essentially calling them poor. So that's something that I learned, and it's something that like really opened my eyes on how like the food service industry doesn't really get paid enough in the States, whereas like over here they get paid living wages.
Yeah. That's nice, I guess. But sometimes, you know, you get that fat tip in the States for all you food workers out there.
Yeah, but they're getting paid like $2.
Yeah, $2 an hour. Evens out though.
That's
Sometimes there's these bad nights.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the whole. Honestly, that's probably a whole video in itself. Tipping.
Yeah.
Especially the whole tip, don't tip, tip based off service, tip based off how pricey your bill is. We just sparked an idea, dude. We're about to do that one.
It's our next episode.
Yeah. Well, just so you guys can see where we're at right now, we're hiking through a little forest. We're going to the lake, maybe get some good footage up there. But like, this is pretty much the scenery around us.
What about favorite
places you've been to? Have you been to a lot of places yet?
Probably my favorite place. I mean, the best time of my life was my Israel trip, but you know, that was only 10 days long. My favorite, you know, trip to go to is probably for nightlife. It would be Belgium, Brussels.
Belgium was a good time, but
yeah, they got.
I went on a Sunday though, like so, like everything was kind of. Delirium was open though, so Delirium was really nice.
Probably wasn't as packed. I mean, that place always has a good.
No, it was packed. It was still packed.
Yeah.
I mean, I was able to get in the basement though. I heard the basement's like the one spot can be.
I usually go to the 3rd floor because they got my stats.
So for those who don't know, Delirium, it's a very famous bar in Belgium. Probably one of the, like, it's what Belgium, or it's Brussels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's Brussels, the city. It's what Brussels is kind of known for, is that bar. It's the one with the pink elephant, so I don't know if anybody's ever seen that. But me, I'm not a big beer drinker, and you'll find that out through like later videos. I hate beer. I don't drink it, so like being in Germany is probably I've never even been to Oktoberfest yet, so like that just shows you how much I don't like beer. But the Delirium actually has a beer that I like, and it's like the Delirium Red. It's actually really good. So
And that place has over like what,
2,000 beers. Yeah, they have 2,000 beers on tap. It's
Solid.
insane. Yeah.
Never had a better time. What's your favorite trip?
Honestly, I have 2. There's like 2 that like rank the same. I can't really like don't know how to judge them, but Ireland and Mallorca. Mallorca, I would say Mallorca holds like a special place in my heart just because of like the time in my life, like what was going on in my life, you know?
Yeah.
So like that trip in general was just like a very good trip, an overall good trip, good time, good people, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It was an earlier time in my life. We'll go into that later, but just like the company I was with, who I went to Mallorca with, and like all the sights we got to see, and just the beach. I loved the beach too, so that was fun.
Yeah.
But Ireland was a good time. I went with my 3 buddies that I met in ALS.
My invite, bro. That's crazy.
You were deployed.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he was. But yeah. So like Ireland was a good time just because of the one. It sounds stupid, but they spoke English, so it helped out a lot. Two. It was just a good time. Like the people were really nice. The people who I ran into traveling were super nice. They were super cool. The food was really good, and the culture is just amazing. Like it's so much like rich in history and everything. Very love doing hikes. So they had like very good nature, very good scenery. It was a very beautiful country. But I preferred Galway rather than Dublin though. Even though I love cities. I love going to cities. I love party cities too. Dublin's a party city. But for whatever reason, I felt like Dublin just felt too touristized.
Yeah.
And it kind of ruined it for me. But Galway was like the real Irish experience. You know, we were supposed to do a trip where we went to Galway, Belfast, and Dublin. But we ended up loving Galway so much, we just skipped Belfast and stayed in Galway another night. Yeah.
Worth it.
It was, but I do want to go back. I want to do the whole Ring of Kerry.
Yeah, because I haven't been yet, so I still need to plan a trip out.
Yeah.
Go for sure.
Scotland was a good time too.
So, what was your worst trip?
My worst trip would probably be my first trip out here, which was when my first New Year's here, Amsterdam. And this is why I have a love-hate relationship with Amsterdam. Amsterdam is just one of those cities that's just like way tourized, or I don't even know if I'm saying the word right. But I got my phone stolen, long story short. Like it was one other time after that, and like I don't think I'll ever go again.
Yeah. That was probably my worst trip too. I have some positives and negatives about it. I'll start with the positives. The positive was I went to this bar. You know, there's all these bars in the red light district. And once again, it's
you go see a live section.
Yeah, I went to see a live section. But
I didn't. My buddy tried to convince me to do that. I was like, yeah, that's too weird.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's normal. Very cool. I recommend it. But yeah, I was just drinking at the bar, and I was sitting next to this my ex-wife and this guy who lived in the city. And you know, we just had good conversation, and he showed me something. I'm never doing it again because it's disgusting, but it's called the concussion. And you drink this strong, you sip this gin, and then you sip a very strong like pale ale. It was just disgusting. But he's a really cool guy, and he wasn't a tourist. We were in a less touristy like bar, so that was nice. It was a genuine experience. But the bad part was, you know, it's ice cold. It was December, so that is already not enjoyable.
Were we in the ice bar?
No, we didn't even go to the ice bar. It was just ice cold everywhere for no reason. Well, it's winter. And then some guy, basically I went to the bathroom, and he told my ex-wife that he wanted to fuck her.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was just, and then me and my ex-wife got in an argument, so it just wasn't a good time. Overall,
I think traveling just brings out the worst of people.
Yeah, honestly.
I remember like traveling with my ex, we'd fight all the time whenever we traveled.
Yeah, me too.
Mainly navigation-wise.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that in our relationship podcast.
Yeah, we have another podcast coming up. We're probably talking about like
honestly, if you're planning on moving overseas or living overseas, I recommend doing it single. I mean, if you're at a young enough age, just because then you can really do what you want. You're not limited by someone else. You can meet foreign ladies, foreign men, do whatever you want to do, you know.
Yeah, don't ask me about that. Well, I have some wild stories, but I don't want my mom hearing them. That's pretty much all we really have today for living overseas. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to us talk and listen to us bullshit about living overseas.
Thanks for tuning in.
About our privileged lives, you know. If you guys want to see us talk about anything else, you know, provide it in the comments, you know. I don't know if we're like at that level yet to be like, subscribe, and share, but please like, subscribe, share.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Hi guys, like what is it? Who's that one dude? I'm not gonna say any names because I don't want to get copyrighted or whatever. But yeah, flip kick that like button.
What's the name of the show?
I don't know. Highly Naked.